Alrighty then, it's time for a jungle Nunu game, and this is after he has received that glorious buff. Which one? I also gotta say that the old Consume was honestly one of the worst buffs they ever gave a champion. Which too, technically, it never really detracted from him, but it was honestly really dumb and pointless. It was more like a bandage buff. I mean, aside from eating the golems giving you something, it was kind of just meh. The new one, on the other hand, gives you a lot of self-value. I mean, it's kind of a very smart way to temporarily fix Nunu's issues, because I think they're going to give him a full rework sometime down the line. Essentially, whenever he consumes something, he's going to get tankier, 3% max health, times whatever stacks he has, also movement speed out of combat. That's a huge goddamn deal. But first, I want to explain this really terrible decision we made. So I go gank Wukong. I snowball his clone because I get duped. I go in and Jarvan catches me. I juke him around in circles, but there's obviously no way I can kill him. And I had no idea where to run. If I ran up there, maybe Wukong would have killed me. Thankfully, Tryndamere killed him. But I felt I was going to be stuck completely before Lux was able to show up to me. So I was hoping to turn left, so that maybe the Jarvan would have picked me to murder. Instead, he made the choice of killing Tryndamere, and I still died anyway, so it kind of was my decision was just poor altogether. Anyways, well, the reason I say it's an amazing buff is because it allows him to extend his early phase before he needs to go back. Because in the past, control junglers had a situation in which they didn't want to go back as often as possible because that was a huge waste of time. It takes you around, let's say, 30-something seconds to port from, let's say, from the river to go home and then walk all the way back to it. And depending on what champion it is, it might even take longer. So that's a lot of wasted time. The only reasons control junglers would often go back was to refresh their wards or if they really got beaten up or something. In general, you didn't want to go back too much. And this buff to him allows him to at least stick around longer. Mostly because they also lower the cooldown, I believe, when it's consumed and making him a little bit better. But mostly because he gets a lot tankier and more mobile. So you don't need to go back to buy your boots of mobility or buy your Cinderhulk immediately. I mean, it doesn't hurt you to do that, but it allows you to sort of stick around a lot more. In fact, you'll see me throughout most of this only going back to refresh my wards and just kind of sticking around helping some lane or going deep and just bugging somebody. And of course, you already saw that you can't outsmite a Nunu. They made the mistake of just kind of ignoring the fact that I was walking up to them. They should have not gotten the dragon low enough and sort of just try to shoo me away before they finished it off. Whatever. By the way, I love that. One Consume ate the goddamn Scuttle Crab. As you can see, the Consume is just making me a fat, tanky piece of shit super early into the game. Even more so when I start being able to buy things. I do get chunked down a lot by the Lux, but she's pretty strong on her own regards right now. And I'm going to be building Spirit Visage just to sort of deal with her. Because the rest of them, if they focus me, I mean, they're mostly melee champions aside from Lucian. If they focus me, they're pretty much just going to get them in a situation they don't want to be in. And mostly in the range of my ultimate. And thus, the only one I really am afraid of is a Lux. He's seeing me before I get to do basically anything. Either way, my team is sort of recovering from the early game shenanigans, mostly because it seems the enemy Wukong is super suicidal. And so Tryndamere, I don't have to bother helping him out. He pretty much helped himself out. I go back to buy the Cinderhulk finally, and you can see my health just spiked up tremendously. It's such a beautiful sight. And, you know, it's kind of funny that they mentioned a sort of decay on the stacks for Nunu, because it just never went away throughout this entire thing. Even when I died, the stacks stuck around. So in essence, this is like having an entirely free item on Nunu, which is really great for a champion who can't farm the jungle for shit. It's honestly incredibly smart. Like, one of the biggest problems with Nunu this entire season was that all the other new control junglers that replaced him, like Rek'Sai and Italy, they could farm. They could get items to make up for any deficiencies they would get from the jungle. Hell, it's not like they never even jungled in the first place. They were just miles ahead of Nunu, who could only kind of carry by proxy. Now, Nunu sort of got this like a shortcut into achieving a much stronger mid game than before. In essence, it's kind of like like welfare for Nunu, and helping them keep up with Nidalee and Rex at the very least. Anyways, you see, we've pretty much started getting a lot of control of the map. Mostly our side. The enemy team can't really step foot near us without us knowing. And by the way, I love this little scene here. Wukong, I try to kill him, he gets super low, and he gets saved by Lucian's heal, but eventually he decides to go for the Blitzcrank, which was honestly stupid, because all it takes is a snowball for me to kill him, and then they give a small little lazy chase to me. Then I just consume the Golem, or Krugs, or whatever, and I'd run back, because now Thresh can't hook me through these minions, and I'm safe and sound. But of course I don't run away, because just immediately, because I'm Nunu. I'm really fat, and he can't really kill me that quickly. I just come back in and steal more jungle buffs, clear some more wards, make sure I have complete dominance of the map. I don't know why Lux is still around. She doesn't really have that much mana to cast many spells. She's just kind of there in spirit, right? Of course they do manage to show up to save this tower, but as you can see, pretty much all their bullets and shit are rubber against me now. As Nunu, I've become super duper uber tanky, and it's only going to become worse when I actually go back and buy some goddamn items. And I buy Spirit Visage, and I'm going to be working on a Thorn Mail just to make them attacking me even worse. By the way, Annie and Blitzcrank hung out here thinking they would be able to ambush somebody, but they didn't know that the enemy team saw them this entire time. So, yeah, it sucks not having a red trinket, right? Or having, wards. So yay. By the way, here I get absolutely murdered, but look how fucking long it takes for them to fucking kill me. It's insane. I know a lot of other tanks take just as long, but I have a Cinderhulk, a Spirit Visage, and just my fat consumed stacks. That is such a boner-inducing situation to have been in as Nunu. I love it. Again, it just solidifies Nunu's tankiness, making him pretty much pure support, and they detracted from his murder power for sure, but it just having a champion like him walk around and just be unkillable and providing a support is definitely what you want. However, though, if you guys read that season 7 thing that that season 7 thing that they mentioned, they were talking about sort of reworking aura items a bit more, and I'm wondering what that's going to do. Because in this game, I didn't actually buy aura items. I end up buying Thorn Mail just to sort of shove my Yeti ass in front of people's faces, and hopefully they kill themselves. But in most games as Nunu, you try to get stuff like Frozen Heart and let's call it Locket of the Iron Solari and stuff. Just, be an aura support kind of champion. By the way, here my fat ass is gonna get caught again and absolutely destroyed. I thought this was clear of wards, but apparently they saw me the entire time, so they jumped me really quickly and absolutely gangbanged me. So sad Yeti, sad. But again, it takes quite a bit to kill me, and I mean, I died faster than last time, but it's sort of showcasing at least just how fucking tanky for free I've become. Anyways, the enemy team goes for Dragon, even though they were not really ready for it. Lux went by herself, but now it gets her trapped. Blitzcrank pulls a Lucian, but they actually set up no vision whatsoever, so the Twitch couldn't even fire upon the Lucian, which ended up creating a very bad team fight for my team. My team gets absolutely decimated, but thankfully the enemy team had really terrible positioning, and the enemy was able to kill several of them. I killed a Thresh slowly by kind of bitch slapping him. Well, Annie killed Lucian, and then she comes back and she's gonna torch Jarvan's ass. So it was a pretty bad fight on the enemy team, but also from my team, it was just battle around. And as a result of their deaths, I can go back and now take their dragon. I've pretty much controlled every single dragon. One which the enemy team had it stolen, the other one where they couldn't do jack dick, and of course another one where they couldn't even kill me. You just saw, no matter what happened, I took so much I took a lot of the brunt of their attacks, and they barely even scratched my dick. So, and these are the kinds of things that just kind of silly to happen, right? So we're preparing for Baron, having everything warded. You can see that I have my pink ward, and that I'm also carrying the tracker's knife and just placing everything. But for whatever reason, the Thresh just kind of ignored, basic common survival and went for the pink ward in the face of everybody of the enemy team and died. Here, I literally just walk up to Lucian because he can't do any fucking damage considerably to me. So I just kind of walk up to him, and you saw, if he even tried shooting me down, my teammates would have gotten him and murdered the shit out of him. And I barely took even like a third of my health and damage. I'm that goddamn fat, and I'm not even properly farmed or anything like that. I love this new consume buff. The Yeti nipples are just standing at erect. Either way, my teammates catch the Thresh, they burn him slowly, eventually I think Annie gets gunned down, and then we secure the Baron, and then holy Jesus Christ, the Twitch damage is insane, and we just pretty much blow them up. At this point, you can tell that we're pretty much going to win. Of course, sadly, the Twitch gets a little too close and gets lasered. And by the way, you can see the pings with me map blaming me for not doing anything. I'm like, the fuck could I have done in that situation? People in this game were generally very volatile. But either way, the enemy team, who's been fighting with each other the entire time, decides to just surrender and say, fuck it. Just fuck the game. My team was also fighting with each other, but whatever. There's a terrible group of people, but I enjoyed it because Nunu is back and swole as fuck. Hooray. This channel is supported by my sponsors, Crunchyroll and Loot Crate. Check out the description below for links to the websites. Signing up for any trials, including Crunchyroll's free anime trial, greatly supports my channel. Also remember to give the video a like to support the channel and subscribe if you haven't yet. I've also made a Patreon now, and if you wish to support me through that medium, then I welcome it.